Hello, hello, hello. If this is the first time that you've watched a live stream from me, my name is Brill, and what I do simply is I create pedestal wives. So today we're going to talk about an emasculated man. I want you to be able to recognize an emasculated man. Before we even get into what that looks like, what an emasculated man looks like, so you can recognize him, I also want to go into how does a man get to that level of carrying his balls in his wallet. We need to talk about that. First of all, let me give you the definition of emasculate. Emasculate is when a man feels that he has been stripped of his masculinity. This means that man feels less masculine. And there's some things that can happen in his life that can create that issue. Three things, pretty much. First, it is society. Two, women. And three, a lack of male mentor. So let's talk about how did he get there? Let's talk about the things that can happen in his life that made him get to the point of carrying his balls in his wallet and being an emasculated man. An emasculated man this can happen when he's with a woman. A woman can belittle him by what he makes, the living that he makes, his ability to provide. That is emasculation. If a woman asks for another man's help, that is emasculation. Constantly pointing out to him what he did wrong, criticizing, telling him how to fix it, giving him your opinion without him asking for it in the first place, destroying his ego in bed. That is also another form of emasculation. Talking and complaining about him to your friends and family. That is also another form of emasculation. Shaming him in public. That is a form of emasculation. And then also, let's get down to some men feel like they're stripped of their masculinity because they lack male mentorship. A man has to be around other men. Men teach men how to be men. Men teach men the onus of maleness, the onus of manhood. And so having a lack of understanding of masculinity makes it for us to have a lot of emasculated men walking around. But let's talk about what that looks like so that when you run into one, you'll understand he's an emasculated man. One of the first things that you're going to notice about emasculated men is usually these men concede to a woman's leadership. And you're going to hear things like happy wife, happy life. You're also going to hear a partnership. He's seeking a partnership. Then also you're going to hear 50-50. You're going to hear, I want to do everything 50-50 because really an emasculated man has learned down the line that at this point in society, women seek control. And since women seek control, he's not willing to fight. He's not willing to get in the mud. He wants to save himself from having to fight or having a power struggle in his relationship. So he automatically leans toward 50-50. So this man will automatically concede to the leadership of a woman. Another thing is a man that is emotionally driven. This man dictates his life by his emotions. And what I mean by that, this is the man that if he gets mad with you, he's going to not pay for something. If he gets mad with you, he's going to decide he's not doing for you just because he's emotionally driven. And this is an emasculated man. Remember, emasculation is just because is when a man is stripped of his masculinity. And this can happen in three ways: society, women, and a lack of male mentorship. Another thing is a emasculated man. Another way to recognize him is he has a problem making a decision. He is that guy that's going to call everybody in his entire circle, in his entire tribe, and talk about his problem, but he's going to be frozen and not make any moves on it. He's going to be paralyzed in making a decision. So this is another way that you're going to be able to recognize emasculated man. And usually, like I said, since it's only three ways, you're going to be able to recognize this emasculated man by what he does. Remember that, because these are going to be some good points for you to in your everyday. And I'm going to say maybe too. Let's say maybe, because these are good ways to identify an emasculated man. But there's always a maybe. There's some pieces that may be the exception to the rule, but a lot of times it's women in society or lack of male mentorship. Remember, masculinity is something that has to be taught by another man. It cannot be taught by a woman. Women cannot teach other men to be men. They just cannot. Another way to recognize an emasculated man is that this is the man that acts very tough. He's the one that has all the muscles. He's the one that talk a good game, but he's irresponsible. He doesn't take care of work and family. And he's an emotionally emasculated man. This means that he didn't have a male mentor. No one taught him about masculinity. No one taught him about manhood. And this is why he's emasculated. This is the reason why he's walking around with his balls in his wallet. Another way to identify an emasculated man is a man who abuses people who are like fragile, or people who are like women or children. A man who abuses those type of people who are not able to defend themselves, that is also another form of emasculated man, because of the fact that he is also, not only did he not have a male mentor, he also has a self-identity problem. This is the reason why he does this, because he's very super insecure with himself. So you can recognize him by the fact that he picks on people who are little than him, people who can't defend themselves. Another thing about an emasculated man is that they don't like conflict. They will hide for conflict. They procrastinate. They fear conflict. They fear rejection. So they don't handle the issue in hand. So they will do all they can to avoid the conflict. They'll hide from that person. They'll block that person. They'll do so many different things because they fear just having a conversation, just communicating in order to settle the issue of the conflict. They're the ones that's running away from the conflict instead of solving it. And this is, like I said, these are another form of emasculation. A man can be emasculated just because he has a sense that he is less masculine. And those things happen in society with women, and also with having like a male mentorship. Like I said before, and I'm gonna keep saying it again, is that men raise men. Men show men about manhood. Men teach men about manhood. Men actually help other men understand their masculinity. This is the very reason why I've been doing some research on emasculation and, emasculating men. And one of the things that really popped out to me was the American Sociology Association. They talked about emasculation as attuned to a man being castrated of masculinity. And even when I looked a little further, there's actually therapy that they are recommending for these emasculated men. They are trying to figure out, they're trying to figure out how to help these men. Because the thing is, I think that we look at men as being so strong, so, influential. So, just, I ain't gonna say godlike, but I am gonna say we look up to them, and we forget the fact that they are human. We forget the fact that they experience depression. They experience feeling like they don't belong. They experience emotions just like we do. It's just that they really the emasculated man was not taught how to handle those emotions. The emasculated man didn't have a mentor to say, okay, this is how you deal with this. This is how you deal with women. This is how you deal with society, because men do have to deal with society too, especially with the current way that it is right now, where men it's been pushed. There's a narrative being pushed that men should act more like women. And just like women don't want to be married to another woman, men don't want to be married to another man. And with society pushing the narrative that men need to act like women, it is going to destroy the polarity. Because in polarity is the balance of feminine and masculine energy in a relationship. It has to be there. That's what keeps it juicy. That's what keeps the attraction. That's what keeps it spicy. That's what keeps people wanting to gravitate towards each other. And this is a very good reason when we're sitting here, when society is eliminating our masculine men and telling them that they are not wanted, that they are not needed. This is killing the polarity. And this is one of the reasons why marriage is going down. It is plummeting. Of course, as I've said before, upper middle class and beyond, they're still at like a 26% rate of not being divorced. But think about the fact that if all of men had the male mentor, if women understood men, that in society didn't push that men should be women, how much higher that would be. Because when you don't have polarity, you can't keep that relationship functioning. And like I said before, when we're talking about polarity, that is like science. It's science. It's something that cannot be messed with. It's not something that we can. I think we've already attempted to try to change it. Like you can see the results. So we've already attempted to role reverse and have women acting in their masculine energy and having men acting in their feminine energy. And we see that that doesn't work. We see that that's the reason why marriages are not happening at a faster rate. And then marriages, not people not getting married, also affects the birth rate. So people are not having babies as much. We need polarity. We need to have the man in his role, his natural role. We need to have women in their natural role. But a emasculated man, I found it to be very interesting especially when I looked and realized I didn't know there was therapy for an emasculated man, but there literally is therapy. People are trying to, go and do the research and realize that men are having issues. And without the male leadership today that man needs, the other men, like, okay, I found another piece of interest, another piece of information that I found to very interesting. Do you all know that even if, and I might get flamed a little bit, but I'm going to tell the truth what I found. I found some research that said that when a man grows up in a family without any male leadership, that even if he is a good man, he tends to go through a self-identity crisis. He tends to go through a phase where he is not knowing who he is, that he goes through a phase of, I don't know what manhood looks like to a man. And that's what's happening currently. And this is the reason why there is therapy that's been set up for those men who actually want to get to know themselves and understand what manhood is, so they can go out here and be a man. So I found that to be very interesting because, we still do have women who think they can raise men. Like, I'm not saying you can't raise him to be a good guy. You can. But most of these men that are raised in that environment, they do go through a self-identity crisis. This means that they go through a phase of not understanding what manhood is, not understanding who they are. And then on the back end, when they don't understand who they are, they don't understand manhood. When they get into a relationship, they're confused. They're confused about what to do, what a man is supposed to do. They're confused about what role they play in the family. They're confused about what they're supposed to take on. And that is interesting that, that's a little piece of information I didn't know. Now you know. This is the reason why it's super important that men get in their role and women get in theirs, so that we can have polarity in relationships and we can have happy marriages, and then we can have more babies. And, family, having a family builds a community. Communities build wealth. And we've already been doing this for a while. As we can see, it's not working. It isn't working. We have too many emasculated men walking around. Too many emasculated men that are going through that self-identity crisis. They don't understand what manhood truly is. They don't understand it because they don't have a male mentor. So even if you find yourself on the other side of this and you just have a young boy, a young son, don't negate having him a male mentor that can help him with this, that phase of life that he's going to go through. And you know what? It is a true phase, because even a woman goes through a phase of self-identity. She goes through a phase of trying to understand who she is and what does she want. Remember, the most important question a person should ask themselves is, who am I? And remember, who you are has nothing to do with your accomplishments and your accolades. Absolutely nothing. So if you're walking around saying, well, I'm just a teacher, I got a 4-year degree, and that is not who you are, sis. You are so much more than that. Please dig deep to figure out what that is. Have a sense of knowing who you are so you don't have this identity crisis. And I think, like I said, everybody goes through it. What makes the difference is the tribe and the people that you currently hang around when you do go through it, so that you'll get through it, in a healthy manner, and you don't do stuff that's destructive. So this is the reason why we have a lot of emotionally emasculated men walking around. They're walking around with their balls in his wallet and saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They're conceding leadership to women. And they're doing it because we told them we women, not we, because not I is not on that side. I've never told a man that I want him to concede to me and let me be the leader. But a lot of women want to be a leader, and they recognize this. They recognize it's better to take the power struggle out of the relationship and relinquish control to a woman than to live with a nag. And this is why a man is emasculated. This is the reason why even when I hear women talking about, well, he wasn't masculine enough. If you say that, I guarantee you, you were more masculine than him. Men have gotten to the point, instead of standing up and trying to enforce and dominate what they do now, they fall back. Men will lean back and let the masculineness that is you lean forward. And then you'll go around and say, oh, well, he wasn't masculine enough. He might have been, but you didn't want to relinquish control in the first place. Because actually, being a feminine woman is relinquishing control. Being a feminine woman is allowing yourself to lean back and trust and surrender. And you will see the masculine in him thrive. Now, of course, men who have like that male mentorship, that father figure in their life, they'll recognize what's going on and they won't even attempt to dominate or try to get you to go back into your feminine. They'll just walk away because they absolutely understand that there's another woman who's absolutely feminine all the time. She doesn't need a masculine presence for her to be feminine, because that's how it's supposed to be. A woman doesn't need a man to be feminine. You can be feminine when you need to be feminine. Of course, every woman should have some masculinity. Of course, some masculine energy, of course. You're going to need it in your day-to-day life. But you don't need a man, a masculine presence to be feminine. So, like, I'm over that talking point because it makes no sense. Because a masculine man will not try to dominate you. Men absolutely understand that either she's going to be feminine or she isn't. And they'll just leave it alone and they'll walk away. And you'll think he wasn't masculine. No, sis, you just was. And he wasn't going to try to dominate you. But we have emasculated men. And we need to be aware and, aware of the emasculated man that's walking around. We need to be able to recognize him so that, and don't think, just because you can recognize that he's an emasculated man, please don't think you can change him. Please don't make him your hobby. Do not think that you can make this man into what you consider him to be just because he's emasculated. Because what's going to happen? DNA happens, biology happens, psychology happens. Even if you attempt, this is the very reason why role reversal doesn't work in a relationship. This is the very reason why a feminine man could actually get with a masculine woman. And at some point, guess what's going to happen? Biology, DNA, psychology, society is going to kick in, and he's going to realize, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this over there. And you will pay the piper for thinking you can change a man and you can dominate him. A woman who thinks she has control has none. Because a man will be a man, and DNA and psychology. Because really, the men that I've talked to, when they said they were in those type of relationships, one of the things they told me is that even if they didn't have a male mentor, they didn't have a father figure to actually understand what manhood looks like and what a masculine man is supposed to do or not do. One of the things is that they recognize that something was wrong. So men have their own set of intuition, and that's what's going to kick in. And y'all know I normally don't follow celebrities, but one of the pedestal wives sent me something about Kanye and Kim, and it was an interesting clip. It was a very interesting clip. It really spoke to the fact that Kanye is the feminine, the effeminate man in the relationship, and Kim is the masculine in the relationship. See, this is the reason why looks don't matter when it comes to femininity. Looks don't matter, y'all. Y'all can sit here and put on your dress and your shoes, baby. I can recognize a masculine woman a mile away. It's how she moves, it's her mannerisms, it's her body language, it's how she treats people, and definitely men that's in her vicinity. So I thought it was super interesting that I don't know if I have the clip somewhere probably in my DMs because I get sent a lot of stuff, but it was a very good clip. It shows that even if a man decides, okay, I'm going to keep my balls in my wallet and I'm going to marry this woman, let her and concede to her leadership. After a while, he starts to feel like something is off, like something isn't right. Now, yes, we can say that Kanye probably has some mental issues he's dealing with. But when I looked at that clip, one of the things I recognized is that he was starting to grow and understand manhood and understand masculinity. In that clip, he was talking about the fact that he didn't like how she dressed. He didn't like how she was so provocative and sexy with her dress. And she was like, well, you married me like that. See, this is the reason why. Be careful trying to change an effeminate man, and then he grows up on you. He matures on you. He starts getting around other men on you. He starts learning from what society deems as manhood and what he feels is right for manhood. And then he wants something different. And this is exactly what happened. He even attempted to move her to another area away from everything else so they can change the dynamics of their relationship. She couldn't do it. Like she literally chose the career, she chose her family over her kids and her husband. That just shows you, no matter if you sit here and think, I'm going to change him, or you think, oh, well, I'm going to be masculine and I'm going to go get me an effeminate man. And you're going to sit here and try to change him. And you're going to sit here and be the leader in that relationship. Sis, beware. Beware when they start having these feelings. Beware when they start realizing this is not the natural role that he's supposed to play. Be aware that he might start getting around men. And actually, if I remember correctly, they moved to an area where there are men there. There are men there. He moved away from California. Y'all have to let me know where he moved to, because I don't remember where it said in the video. But I recognized it as one of those places where there are men there. Men are known to be rugged. They're known to get physical there. They're known to get dirty there. And he's around those type of men. See, that's why I said be wary of the emasculated man and thinking, well, I'm going to just get me one of these emasculated men. And then I'm just going to sit here and lead. And I'm going to see him act as though, and change him and mold him into what I want as a husband. Just be wary, sis. Because if it's happening in real life with Kanye and Kim. And that's why I said Wyoming. Wyoming is actually known for men to be rugged, to be physical. It's a hard area environment to live in. So can you imagine what type of men that he got around? And he started talking to these men, and you know how men get together and they start talking about their wives and talking about their relationships. They start having that barber talk, that barber side talk or whatever. And just think about how he started looking at the relationship and started feeling like something was wrong. But for what I understand, talking to me and myself, they'll tell you, okay, one of the things that one of the guys said, he said, it just felt wrong. It felt wrong for me to always have to call her to do something. It felt wrong to feel like I'm in my relationship and I can't make a decision. It felt wrong. And that's with the feeling leads to action. And the action leads to change. And that's what happened to Kanye and Kim. The change happened. He started to be around men. Like, I don't know what type of men he was in California. We don't know. But we're going to sit here and say, if he's in Wyoming, like, y'all look it up. Those men are even talked about as being different. So he's around these type of men, and his wife is in California showing all her goods. His wife got a reputation that he wasn't paying attention to before because he was an emasculated man. And they grow up, y'all. Just because they start out being an emasculated man, when he start getting feeling that he's not in his natural role, and this is what men have told me, they be like, you start feeling like something wrong. You start feeling like you're not even the king of your own castle. When you're in that type of relationship, when you feel emasculated. And then you start getting around other men and start talking to them about manhood and the role of a man. And you start growing up and you start learning. Then you start realizing that either she's going to have to change or I can't be in this type of relationship. So I want you to think about that before you think, oh, well, I'm going to get me an emasculated man. It sounds good. No, it don't. It doesn't sound good. It sounds like a person who's going to be divorced eventually. That's what it sounds like. Kanye and Kim's getting ready to get one. That's what it sounds. It sounds like they're about to get a divorce. It sounds like, nothing but a broken family. That's what being with an emasculated man is. When you're with a man who's walking around with his balls in his wallet, where he has to concede to a woman's leadership, where he cannot make a decision to save his life. He has to call his entire tribe. He had to call everybody he knows and ask them, what do I do with this? What do you think about this? And then he get paralyzed from all of the information and doesn't make a move. An emasculated man who has to walk around tough because he doesn't understand about manhood. He doesn't understand masculinity. He doesn't have a male mentor. And remember, they're good about picking on people who are little, people who are defenseless, people who need to be protected. because of the fact they're insecure. They're having self-identity crisis. Remember, men have that. Even if this is the reason why it's super important that women realize that men raise men. Men need to be in another man's life. Of course, he needs you. Of course, he needs that feminine presence. Of course, he needs a woman in his life, his mother. But he definitely needs a man. Even if it's not, maybe his father isn't worthy of that position. A male mentor still will suffice. Do not let your little boys run around and have to deal with self-identity crisis. And now, like I said, it can go either way. According to what I looked when I did my research in psychology in the American Sociology Association, they talk about the self-identity crisis that men go through because of the fact they don't understand manhood. They don't understand their masculinity. And you got to realize it's not just the family structure that is telling men how they need to be or who they need to be or where they need to go or how they need to act. It is also society. Society has a set norms that are conflicting. On one side, men are told you need to be a man. You need to man up. And on the other side, you need to be soft. You need to be more like a woman. And these are conflicting ideas. So society has set this pull and tug with men in their manhood. And that right here is an issue. This is the reason why men are needed to guide another man. So he'll learn from another man how to operate as his role as a man, how to operate within manhood, how to operate in masculinity. And this is the reason why emasculated men do not make great husbands, because eventually, sis, they wake up. Eventually, sis, you become Kim, where you're being left because a man realized this is not the natural role that I'm supposed to play. That I want a more say in my home. Eventually, they wake up. It might be late, but they do wake up. So that doesn't sound like an option. It shouldn't be an option. You shouldn't want an emasculated man. You should not want an emasculated man just because you desire control, just because you lack trust in men. Don't lean towards an emasculated man and be Kim. Don't lean towards an emasculated man because you want to control a man, because you will lose control. The control you think you have is a facade. You don't really have control. None of us do. All right, so that is what I have for emasculated men. But they don't make great husbands, and you shouldn't desire one. Okay, so let's see what the pedestal. I don't see anything on YouTube at all. So we're going to move on to Instagram. So let's look at what the pedestal wife on Instagram is saying. What are the signs if dating an emasculated man? Okay, when you're dating an emasculated man, this means he's going to concede to your leadership. He's going to constantly be like, oh, well, when he's not going to want to make a decision. That is the gist of it. He is going to concede to your leadership. Whatever you like, he's going to be willing to do. And I think some women will get flattered by that. Some women will be flattered by that when they don't understand the natural role of a man. They're going to be enticed by that. Maybe at one point, even Kim was enticed by that when she had a man that was like, oh, well, he was willing to bend over backwards to give her what she wants and concede to her leadership. But after a while, like I said, they grow up. So he's going to concede to your leadership. He's not going to be able to make a decision. He's going to be second guessing his decision. He's going to be calling everybody that he constantly knows about a decision. Let me explain something to you. One thing about men, is that they might take and listen to your opinion. But when it comes down to it, they're still going to do what's needed for them. They're going to move in a way that's going to be best for them. They're not going to be influenced by everybody else's opinion. They don't move like that. So a man who cannot make a decision, he second guessed himself. Now, we're not talking about natural work processing through. When we talk about the fact how men sometimes talk out loud and they're processing their thoughts by speaking them, but they don't mean they want your opinion. They don't mean they need your help. Some men just do that. That is a form of processing for men. Okay, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about a man that gets stuck. He won't make a decision. He's paralyzed and cannot make a decision. And then it's also the ones who act tough, and he's not tough. He's not tough. What I mean tough, when I consider a man who's tough, I consider a man who is able to ride for his family and his work and family. That is tough. A man who's able to stand the test of time and get the things he need to get done. That is toughness, not just physical toughness. The men that are just operating on physical toughness, but they're irresponsible. They're not responsible for their work and their family. Okay. Another way that you can identify them is that they pick on people they need to protect. They pick on the little ones. They pick on children. They pick on women. They pick on anyone that they feel that is beneath them, or feel like there is little than them, or feel like there's fragile. That is another way to recognize a emasculated man. And another way is this man will run away from conflict. He is not like, you're going to want to have a conversation. He's going to be like deuces. He's going to figure out other things to do. He's going to be practicing avoidance. He's going to procrastinate. He always run away from conflict. He doesn't want to solve anything or communicate. This is how you know you're dealing with an emasculated man. I see a comment here on Instagram. See, unfortunately, marriage is not a priority today. It's all about individual success. And when they have gotten what they want, they're gone. Well, you know what? The thing is also that is just because other people are doing it, your mindset has to change. You have to realize that just because other people's marriage is not a priority, there's other spaces where people really want to get married. There are other spaces where they're good women. There are other spaces where women want to be good wives, and you're doing the work. There are actually spaces where women are actually paying for coaching, paying for marriage prayer, paying to be in spaces so they can be around masculine men. So if you are around the area where people are not prioritizing marriage, get in different spaces. Because I'm definitely around people who value marriage, who are doing what they can to be the best they possibly can be, either it be a good wife or a good husband. So change your tribe, change who you're hanging around with, so you can change your mindset. Pedestal Wife on YouTube said, "Hi, Brill. What are some early signs that the man is feminine?" I would say the first sign is when a man concedes to your decision. When a man gives his leadership over to you, is probably the first sign. When he can't make a decision and he automatically say, "Okay, we're going to do whatever you think," or whatever you want to do. If he doesn't have any no type of opinion now, because see, some of that, of course, could be given to he's trying to please you, but then you have to actually make sure you pay attention to that, because he could be, just like I said with Kim and Kanye, he could be just going along to get along, and that could also be a sign of emasculation. Because a man who understands the value of leadership is not going to throw leadership on a woman. He is not going to say, "Well, you go ahead and do it. You figure it out." He's not going to leave all final decisions to her in the first place. That is a very good sign to see if he's a feminine man. A feminine man is going to, also another way that you're going to be able to recognize a feminine man, you're not going to be attracted to him. You're not. Unless you are not a heterosexual woman, then that's the only way you're going to be attracted to him, because then it would be like being attracted to another woman. So when you are around a feminine man, the attraction is not going to be there. And you're going to be like, "He's so nice. He's so sweet. Why am I not attracted to him?" Seriously, let me tell you why you're not attracted to him. You're not attracted to him because he's not masculine. You need polarity in order to create attraction. And polarity requires masculine energy and feminine energy. If the masculine energy is missing and it's nothing but two feminine women, unless, like I said, you go the way, you don't like men, you like women, then it's not going to be attractive to you. So that has to be there. That's your first signal. I would actually look at that first. Look at the attraction level that you have for that man. And I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about when you're with him, how does he make you feel? I'm not talking about his swag. I'm not talking about his shoes. I'm not talking about his shirt. I'm talking about, how does he make you feel? Do you feel attracted to him? That's a very good indicator if you're in a room with a feminine man. Usually a feminine man, you're not going to be, if you're a feminine woman, you're not going to be attracted to a feminine man. You know why? Because it's like being attracted to another woman. Unless you swing that way, then it's not going to be for you. That's going to be your first indicator. Then he's going to be wanting to concede leadership to you too. That's another thing. Feminine women, we don't mind trusting, surrendering, and giving control. So we don't want to hear all the time that you want us to make that final decision. If you start putting all the decisions in my lap, I'm gonna automatically start. Everything gonna turn off for me. As a feminine woman, everything gonna turn off, shut down, try again. You're gonna get that sign because of the fact that I want you to be in your natural role. I am not a woman that wants men to be out of the role that they were meant to be in. So that is how you're going to be able to recognize a feminine man. You're going to be able to recognize him because everything downtown, everything down south is going to be dry. If you're a feminine woman. If you're not a feminine woman, you might be attracted to it because polarities matter. So if you're a masculine woman, you may be attracted to that feminine man. So check your energy. See what energy you're putting off. Remember, I believe in the balance of it. So when you're with a man, you should be in your feminine energy so that you're attracting the right type of male for you. And you're not getting tricked thinking you're attracted to a masculine man. Well, absolutely, he's a feminine man because you were with him in your masculine energy. So that is important. So polarity is going to be your biggest thing to look for. And then also the fact that he wants to concede leadership. He's that type that's going to ask you, what do you want? And every step of the way, he's not going to have any plans. He's not going to have any, he's not going to make any decisions at all. He's going to put all those decisions in your lap. That's where you're going to know he's a feminine man. A pedestal wife on YouTube said, what do you think about a man wanting you to come to meet him for a first date? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because of the fact that when it comes down to it, a first date is proving and information. And if you're going to him, to me, that's a form of chasing. That's a form of you chasing him. And we don't want to start off on a bad foot. Let him chase, let him prove. And the first date is not that wouldn't be the day I would actually go to a guy, period. Because he needs to prove that he wants to be with me. He needs to prove, because like I said, I'm a feminine woman. I married a masculine man, not a feminine man. And I need to make sure you're not a feminine man. Pedal's wife on Instagram said, if a man asks you to arrange most of the dates, maybe because he's busy or wants women to choose, is he a feminine man? It depends how far along this relationship has progressed. Okay, that is the first question I would ask. Is this the first date that we're talking about? Or have y'all established a relationship? Y'all are in a relationship. That would be the determiner if he's a feminine man or if he's a masculine man. Because masculine men are busy. Like I said before, masculine men are not going to put a woman first. He's going to put his purpose first. Women don't like hearing that. And it's hard to receive. And I understand. It is hard to receive because women want to be cherished and adored. So you want to be put first. But when you're with the masculine man, you won't be put first. His purpose will come before you. You'll come second. So that depends on what place y'all are in as far as a relationship. So if we don't have, do we have any other questions? Because if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to get ready to go. But let's go ahead and break down that pedestal wife on Instagram, her question when she asked about arrange most of the dates. Okay, let's talk about the fact maybe y'all have an established relationship and he's busy. And you know this for facts. This is not some kind of excuse that he has. You know for a fact he's a CEO, he's running a company, he's doing these things. And it depends on arrange. Hold up. When you say arrange, are you saying you have to call the place and get it set up? Or are you saying you're just going to pick the place? Like, that's what I mean. That's the difference. Is he asking your opinion to pick the place, or are you actually physically calling the place to make the reservation? That will be the determiner. I'll let you answer that. Let me go to YouTube. Pedestal wife on YouTube says, is masculine energy a proving energy? Meaning he should be proving he wants you and thus should be planning dates and coming to see you and meeting you. I agree. Yes. Proving, planning, building, producing, all of those are masculine energy. Pick the place. Okay, pick the place is fine. Even if you pick it, he should still make the reservation. Okay. That is when I'm talking about him not being able to make a decision, I'm saying that something could happen with y'all could be married in a relationship. It doesn't matter what y'all are currently doing. He doesn't make a decision. He asks you for your opinion and he goes along with that. That is it. That is the final decision. You're literally making the final decision for all relationship matters. That is what I mean when I say he doesn't take the lead in a relationship. And then that is a feminine man. That is also an emasculated man. Now, him saying you pick the place, no problem. Okay, there's nothing wrong with you picking the place. It's just that he needs to go ahead and do the grunt work and making the reservation. Like a pedestal wife on YouTube said, masculine energy is about proving, building, producing, planning, making decisions. That's what masculine energy is all about. Him picking the place is just him allowing you to pick the place. He just wants to please you. He wants to make sure he has the correct place that you're going to enjoy. That is fine. Like I said, when I'm talking about conceding leadership to a woman, that is the difference of the emasculated man. Emasculated man will concede all leadership questions to a woman. He will decide. Have y'all ever, and I've been around men like this too. Y'all, I've been around men like this too. I've been around men where they can't even make a small decision without their wife present. They can't even spend $50 without their wife knowing about it. That is emasculation there. That is an emasculated man where he can't make a decision. He can't even take $50 out of his bank account without calling the wife and say, hey, can I get $50 out of my bank account? Hey, can I get $100 out of my bank account? A pedestal wife on YouTube said, is there ever a time when it's acceptable for a man to be in his feminine energy? Yes. It is acceptable for a man to be in his feminine energy when a traumatic thing has happened. Y'all, when his mom has died, when his grandma has died, you should comfort him because that's going to be the time when he's going to be in his feminine energy. He's going to want to cry. He's going to be upset. Those are appropriate times. Appropriate times for feminine energy is when something traumatic has happened, a loss in the family, maybe a loss of a sibling, a loss of a son or daughter. Those are appropriate times for him to be in his feminine energy. Most of the time, he should be in his masculine energy. He should be the one leading. He should be the one producing, building, providing. These are the things that men do. So yes, there are some times that he's going to be in his feminine energy. The thing is, we have to make sure that this is another thing to look out for. If you get with a guy who's always complaining, y'all, it is not attractive for a man to constantly complain. It is not attractive for a man to always be in his feminine energy complaining about life or complaining how hard he has it or, whining and complaining is unattractive. Whining and complaining makes everything that's in a feminine woman, everything to go dry. Everything shut down. Light goes on. What's going on here? That is not attractive. A pedestal wife on YouTube said, what do you think about a man asking you about your line of work or your income early on? Is this a feminine question? Yes. If he's asking about your line of work and what you're currently doing, and he really hasn't gotten to know you, he's looking for someone like I would listen for keywords. If this man say anything about partnership or 50-50, then we already know what he wants. This is the reason why he's asking about a job. He's looking at a way to build his financial empire, and he wants someone to add to it. And so to me, that's a red flag. I would pay attention if he's asking about your line of work, if he's asking about what you do. But I don't have any other questions. I don't have anything else. But we need to make sure you recognize emasculated man. Recognize an emasculated man before you get into a relationship, because you don't want to end up like Kim and Kanye. She truly did believe that because she was leading a relationship that he was going to stay effeminate and a feminine man forever. And the thing is, the men that I talked to that started going through that progression, started understanding themselves and manhood, they said they had a feeling. They felt like they were out of place of the role they're supposed to play in a relationship. And that's what happened to him. You can see if I could, I might post that clip to my page later on after this live, so you all can see what I saw. Because that clip told the entire story of what he's currently going through. And she even said that the fact that he was progressing and moving doesn't mean that she was on the same thing that he was on, which lets you know he was going down a journey of learning about manhood. He was actually getting his identity together. What about the world building? I personally resent that word. What about the word building? Yeah, if you hear building, okay, Pedal's Wife on Instagram gave us another key word to listen for. Building, partnership, 50-50. Like, and I most of the time I've seen, and y'all think this one sounds good too. A lot of y'all like the happy wife, happy life term, but let me explain to you, a lot of those men are emasculated men that are running around with that phrase. You won't really see a masculine man sitting there talking about happy wife, happy life. A lot of times masculine men are like happy wife, happy husband. That's the term that they would use. So I would be wary of those type of terms to let you know you're dealing with an emasculated man. But you should be able to recognize a feminine man in the first place. First off, polarity. Two, off the fact that he is going to concede leadership to you. He's not going to be able to make a decision. And he's also going to act tough, but be soft as a marshmallow inside and be irresponsible. Then also he's gonna be eager to pick on someone who is little, who's fragile, who's vulnerable. So you need to be wary of that. Those are emasculated men. And like I said, there's three things that cause those things. It is society, women, and also lack of male mentorship. A Pedal's Wife on YouTube said, would you say that when a man plays games that he's being his feminine energy, or could this be just immaturity? I feel a masculine man is either in pursuit of you or he's not. No playing around. Absolutely. I don't know not one masculine man that doesn't go after what he wants. I just don't know one. I feel like that. I don't feel like that's masculinity. I mean, who's playing those games. Like usually, y'all, I literally know men that even if they're not into marriage, right? I know men that are not into marriage, but they would tell a woman straight off the gate, look, I want sex. We vibing. That's all I want. I don't want nothing else. And then he'll say, it don't matter if she hears something else or hears something I didn't say. I tell her directly, I want sex only. And it's up to that woman to decide if she want to get in that type of relationship. I know men who are very direct. The masculine men I know, they're direct. They don't play no games. They'll tell you if they want you, they don't want you, how they feel about you, or what. There's no confusion connected with this. That's one reason why I can't respect men who are teaching other men just to lie. There's no masculinity in that. If you want a woman, you should be able to tell her, I want you. I want you. I desire you. You better get your word game up, because that's how masculine men operate. They tell a woman directly what they desire. There's no confusion involved in this. And that's another sign of an emasculated man that's willing to lie, cheat, and steal to get what he wants from a woman. When if he was really about his manhood, his masculinity, he'll say directly, I want you. I don't want the marriage. I don't want the relationship, but I want you. Do feminine men provide? Yes, they do. They do. Feminine men will provide. Okay. Let me go ahead and say it again. A feminine man will provide. Not in all cases, but he will provide. Okay. Look at Kanye. Kanye provided. He provided for Kim. He was very supportive of Kim. So a feminine man will provide. It's just that you have to be on the lookout for when he goes through that phase of getting around other men and understanding manhood and really realizing that the role of masculinity that he currently playing is not correct. And then he starts to grow up. And then he's like, hold up, something's incorrect in his relationship. Something's not right. But yeah, there are some feminine men that will provide, and they walk around with their balls in their wallets. Well, their wife runs everything. And they're also the ones that complain about never getting sex from their wives. And you wonder why that is. You don't get sex from your wife because, in fact, there's no polarity in that relationship. She's the boss, you're the feminine. And with that dynamic, it's incorrect, it's unnatural, and there's no polarity. So she's not attracted to you because she can dominate you. So yeah, there's some feminine men that provide. Like I at least know a couple who provide for their wives, and that she runs the show. But he got dry dick. He don't get no cheeks. He complained about having no sex. And he don't have any sex because there's no polarity. She's dominating him. Emasculated men fear rejection. Absolutely. That's the very reason why they will hide. They will lie. They will do what they can to not be rejected. They will do what they can not and avoid conflict. So these are ways to recognize emasculated men. Don't take an emasculated man as a project. Believe me, it's not worth it. An emasculated man eventually will learn the natural role of masculinity, and then he will not want it. He will not want that type of relationship anymore. He's going to try to change the dynamic of the relationship. Even when I was doing my research, there's so many places that are trying to teach men how to not be emasculated in their marriages. They're trying to teach me how to change the dynamic in the marriage. But she is the masculine, he's the effeminate. And y'all already know where that's going to go. What are the downfalls of being with a feminine man? The downfalls for being with a feminine man is being by yourself. The downfalls of being with a feminine man is being by yourself and raising your children alone. That is the downfall. The downfalls of being with a feminine man is always have to be in your masculine, never being able to feel the joy of being a feminine woman. That is the downfall. Always, having to step into a role that wasn't meant for you. So also you being with a feminine man, this is also going to affect your health. It has been shown that women are starting to get heart attacks as much as men. So it's a possibility being with a feminine man is also going to affect your health. So that little bit of pudge that you're currently seeing on your body, that's cortisol. It's starting to build. That's because you're with a feminine man. This means you can't relax in your feminine energy. This means that you're going to continue to see that pudge grow, and people are going to continue to stop you in the street and ask you, are you pregnant? That is the downfalls of being with a feminine man. Okay. A lot of women get with a feminine man because they desire control and don't want to relinquish trust. They don't want to relinquish power to that guy. But then you're going to have to deal with the downfalls of being with a feminine man. A possibility of being alone, raising your children alone, stepping into a role in your household where you shouldn't be at, and having to deal with the health problems that come along with it. All right, I don't see any other questions. So we're going to get ready to go. Today we do have a girl chat at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to try to keep our girl chat down to like an hour. The private Facebook group for the Pedestal Wife community is where it's at. It is a bomb community. It is an intimate community. It's being with in a room with a whole bunch of not only women who are already married, but women who are dating. Everybody brings certain knowledge and skills to the group. So it's a wonderful place to be. And y'all know what I love about the group? It's not catty. We can sit here and post screenshots in the group. We can sit here and talk and have candid conversations, and we're not like at each other's throat. We're trying to help each other and support our sister. That's what I love about the group. Eventually, I will be opening up some more spots in the Pedestal Wife group. So if you're not on my email list, you might want to get on it, because I'm going to be offering some discounts to get on into the group very soon. The Pedestal Wives that are currently in the group have actually said, hey, let some people in. So if you DM me recently, I might be opening up some spots so that you can get you a spot into the group. you're going to really enjoy it. Our girl chats can last from 2 hours to 4 hours, and we just talk about so many different things. And then we learn from each other. We learn about online dating. We learn about how to vet a man. We talk about how to, deal with men. We learn about the mentality of men. We do so, and we talk about children. We have talked about so many things that it's a enjoyable conversation. It's so informative. I mean, I feel like that I've just learned so much about women and how you interact as a sister to other women. And I can see that in my group. This is the reason why I'm very careful about who I let in, because of the fact I want to make sure I keep it where it's not catty. Because see, a lot of the level up groups that I've heard, been privy to, is that it's very catty. It's so competitive. So how can you learn about being about a woman, learn about men, if you're catty and you don't want to support another woman? So I love the fact we're very supportive. We have what we call girl chat, where we get together twice a week and we do it via Zoom, and we just have conversations that it's like, when I get off those calls, I'm so refreshed. It actually helps for me to continue to do what I do, to know that there's some women who support the message, who support the platform and the community. And then not only do they support it, they are examples to other women of how you're supposed to be a pedestal wife. And you're a pedestal wife, you're a wife, period, before you get married. You don't have to be a pedestal wife and get that title by being married. You actually need to start doing that before you become a wife. Pedestal wife on YouTube said, do masculine men make more money? Do they feel manly when they give and take care of their woman? Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the research that I've done is that men who are masculine, men who are married, and men who are engaged in their engaged in the relationship, in their body, into the family structure, they go out here and make more money. So that is so true. They do make more money. They do feel more manly. They understand manhood and masculinity, so that they're able to go out into the world. And you remember, I tell y'all how it is so important. Do you know how important it is to know who you are before you get out here on social media or when you mingle in society? Because if you don't, someone will tell you who you truly are. And with men that are masculine, not only do they make more money, they don't have identity crises. They know who they are. They've done the work. So it's a wonderful thing to be around, like-minded people who understand the value of inner work, value of knowing who you are. Because with the world that we currently live in, you have to know who you are. You have to know what you stand for, or you'll fall for anything. And see, that's the beauty of a masculine man. They know who they are. They don't have identity crisis. They go out here and make more money for their families. They're very family oriented too. But I'm going to be sending out the email for the private Facebook group at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be getting together, ladies. And I'm excited because I don't even remember what the topic is about. I think we're going to talk about books and finances. And we're going to talk about how finances should be operated within a relationship. We're going to have a lot of different conversations, which is normally how the girl chats go. Y'all already know how women get together. They get together. We talk about a lot of different topics. So when you're there, you're sitting in on a lot of information. And then also in the group, I've taken upon myself to create guides so that if you miss a girl chat, you can go and watch the Zoom. And then also you can go to the guide and look at the information that's there. So I'm actually documenting all the information and all of the knowledge that the women are putting together, because they're giving up so much game, so much information, especially about online dating. We have our own resident pedestal wife expert about dating, online dating. She's giving so much wonderful tips. I appreciate her. I think she's an asset in this group. So we're going to I'm going to get ready to go. But thank you all for spending this time with me. Thank you, Pedestal Wives, for your support. I appreciate you so much. And I'll see you all on Monday. Remember, Pedestal Wives meeting at 4 p.m. And I'll see you all on the next one. Y'all have a great one. Bye.